Jesus was talking to her too. Ministering on the inside, ministering on the outside. She didn't recognize Jesus. Jesus said, "Woman, why are you crying? What's wrong with you?" She said, now she's talking to Jesus. Didn't know him because she thought he was a gardener. Just part of all the regular scenery. Don't miss it. That on the outside there was new life, but she couldn't recognize what it looked like. She was looking for life one way, but on the outside God was showing her a new way. I don't know how much. She was looking for an old life, old expectations, old hopes and dreams. And on the outside of that, there was a new life. Sometimes we miss the new life God has given us because we keep looking for an old thing. And in the mundane, regular, natural courses of life, Christ is trying to let us know he's there always. The reason why we can't recognize him because we are looking for him in the way we want him. I can't bring it to you any clearer. That we are looking for Christ the way he used to be. But on the other side of death, when you allow those expectations to die, you will see that God is working out a new way, a better way. Here's what he did. She didn't see who he was. He had to call her name. Because every now and again, God has to snap you out of yourself. He called her name and automatically she said, Jesus? When Christ calls your name, oh my God. Do you mind poking your neighbor and tell him snap out of it? Can you mind poking your neighbor and tell him snap out of it? On the other side of what you were expecting, Christ is creating a better way. A stronger way, a more powerful way. Oh, I told you a few weeks ago, sometimes you got to let things die. Not because they're not good, but that's the only way you get to better. She didn't recognize him. Even when she is used to talking to him all the day. He looked like a gardener. Christ blended into her natural scene. He was in her environment, and she didn't realize he was there. Christ is in your environment. He's all around you. And it takes for you to look where he is. And every now and again, what he does is he calls our name. Oh, I love in the middle of my going through hard stuff, he calls my name. I love when I'm looking for him a certain way, he calls you and say, no, he's another way. I love when I'm expecting God to do something one way, and he turns around. You got to be open to God doing things different ways. That's why we miss God. That's why we hurt. The sooner we learn to adjust our expectations to God and not him to us, is the sooner we see what he's doing. We keep trying to make God fit us, and he don't fit you. He's trying to show you something better, because the God that you want is dead. The person you wanted to help your little natural life for just a moment, that's over. This Jesus on the other side, this Jesus has more power. This Jesus you can walk on. This Jesus on the other side, that Jesus before was limited. He had a body, he couldn't be everywhere. That Jesus was tired. But this Jesus on the other side, there is a life on the other side of your pain. There is a life on the other side of your grieving. There is a life on the other side of your suffering. There's a life on the other side of your failure. There's a life on the other side of your addiction. There's a life on the other side of your cancer. There's a life on the other side. There's life on the other side. Don't let your problems say your life is over. Don't let situations say it is done, it is finished. There is life on the, slap your neighbor and say, on the other side. Slap your neighbor and say, on the other side. On the other side of my tears, there's joy. On the other side of my weakness, there's strength. On the other side of my silence, there's noise. On the other side. Slap somebody, say, on the other side. On the other side of all of this. On the other side. On the other side. On the other side. There's life. It ain't over for you. It ain't over for you. Put a smile on your face. Wash your face. Change your clothes. Put on some new shoes. Take yourself to dinner. I can't get no help in here. You got to learn to realize on the other side of grief, on the other side of suffering, on the other side of pain, get yourself dressed. Put on some makeup. Go outside and walk around in the yard. Because on the other side of my suffering, on the other side of my pain, I know that there's life. And not only life, life and more abundant life. Slap your neighbor, say on the other side. I can't let, Sister Jamaica, we can't let dementia rob us of our joy. You can't let, we got the diagnosis of dementia and I was in denial. Be personal, I was in denial and she could tell you, I kept saying, no, that's not what it is. Because I seen God one way, and how could this happen? How? I must have no power. I'm praying, and you're saying, oh, it's going to change, until someone said, oh, keep praying, it's going to change. And then for some reason the Lord said, if it don't change, if she don't get better, what you going to do? On the other side of it, uncle, that there's still life. I refuse to make any suffering steal me of my joy. On the other side of my pain, on the other side of my worry, I know that God is working things out. I know that God is filling my empty space. Woo! Let me tell you, every now and again, God remind me that I go there and her name is 3 foot. Actually, tree foot. Let me just put it for you all grammatically credit. I know it's 3 feet. But with the yard, we said 3 foot. And so there are moments where she is in, where dementia sometimes you're there, but you're not there. And you can see that her eyes are gone somewhere. But every time I say 3 foot, it pulls her back. It's the same way like with Jesus talked to Mary and said he had to call her name. And she snaps out of it. And she says, Steve, every now and again, you got to realize that God is working on the inside of things. He's working on the outside. And if things don't change, it won't change my praise. Because God is a God of my empty place. He's a God of my broken place. He's a God of my damaged place. God is... Oh, I can't get no help in here. I said God is a God of my empty place. Hey. I refuse to not enjoy life. And every now and again, you got to look it in the eye. Look your problem in the eye. And say, I'm looking straight at you. I'm not running any longer. You're not going to have me wrapped up in sheets. I'm going to open up the blinds. I'm going to open up the window. I'm going to let some sunlight come in. I'm going to cook. I'm going to clean. I don't got no help in here. I'm going to do things. I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to eat a good lunch because I refuse. He's the God of my empty place. He's the God of my empty place. I know God is working over here. I wish you would slap somebody and say, God of the empty place. You need to look in your tomb. Look where your friends died. Look where expectation died. Look where your hope died. Look where your family died. And realize that God is working. I can't get no help here. I said God is working. Yeah. When you know God is at work, I can go back to the graveyard. I could walk around in the graveyard and know that God is here too. He's not on the outside of graveyard. He's on the inside. And if God is working it out. Can I talk to somebody in grief? No longer do you have to dress up your emptiness. No longer do we have to cover it up. I'm going to stay right here in the middle of my emptiness. Whoever come by, come by. I'm waiting for the Lord to give me an answer. God will give you an answer right where you hurt. And oftentimes your answer is in the midst of your pain. If you sit down and wait and don't move on, you said, Lord, I'm waiting. You gave it to me. Teach me what you got to know from it. I got to go. He's the God. He's still God where you're empty. He's still God in the broken. He's not, and the preacher was preaching last night, he's not outside the pain. He's in the middle of it. Because automatically we want to blame. It's the Romans that did it. It's this one that did it. Because it's easy for us to deal with and not realize we serve a God that's in control. And the more you stay there, God will teach you. I'm in the middle of it. Stand everywhere. Stand everywhere. It's my time. The God of my empty places. That every now and you have to go back. She didn't have to go back. She'd been there already. What made Mary go back? What made her look again? What made her peek in again? But God let her wait around because there's an answer there. There's an answer there. In the graveyard of your life where there's brokenness and emptiness, there's answers. There's answers. And you'll realize it's not really empty. With dementia, God is there. God has filled her mind with Him. Okay. He's filled her mind with Him outside of the distraction of us. Don't miss it. That now she can steal away in her mind with Him. When you look at it that way, it's more time to concentrate on God than be caught up in all the stuff that we go through. To be absent from the body. And that even means in your mind is to be present with God. And every now and again, maybe I'm pulling her back. God of my empty place. There are no limits where I have to put a police tape and say, don't go there. Don't come. Because there's some secrets in our life. We put police tape around it and we say, I can't go there. We don't even want to go there. And if you go back and look, God is working in it. You see those teenage years where you was all messed up doing all that kind of nonsense? God was there. You know I know he was there? Because you're here. I can't get no help in here. You know I know he was there? Because you're right here. If he wasn't with there, he would have snuffed you out. The enemy would have slapped you around and you would have been in Kings County. But because you're here, that's why you don't let anybody make you ashamed of your past. You don't make anybody ashamed of what you went through to get here. All of those things were working it out. My good things and my bad things made me who I am. Look over your life. God was there. Yeah, God was there. How? When I was drinking, I was clubbing, he was there. I was high, Pastor, he was there. Everything led you here to let you know he is God of your empty place. That while you was looking into your brokenness, he was staring at you. While your mind wasn't on him, he was looking at you. When you was even looking for him, he was there looking at you. And today, he's calling your name. Today, he's calling your name to let you know on the other side of that, there's new life. All over the house, lift your hands. For whatever you're going through, where life has left you hollow. Life is complicated. There's no perfect peace. It don't fit perfectly together. I wish it did, that each piece welded perfectly together. Life is complicated. But I trust God in every of my ups and my downs, Stefan, in my ups and my downs. God is at every point. God on the mountain, God on the valley. He's still God. Different views of him, but still the same God. Wait, same God. Oh, he's the God when you're at your lowest. He's the God when you think that you got everything all together. God when you cleaned up, and God when you mess up. My broken ears, I thank God for my empty spots. Because I know he's working in them. God of my empty places. God of my empty places. Fill me. I want to pray for those that might be going through some grief. Yeah. Some hard stuff. Yeah. That's perfect. Thank you. Jesus came and did it. That you might be going through some areas where you're looking for answers and you still, maybe been 10 years ago. Some of us carry around things for a long time. I want to pray for you today. I do. I really do. I want to pray for you today. And then we can go on home. That those of you that might be suffering, might be going through a moment of grief, and you're looking for answers. I would love to pray for you. I would love to pray for you. for me. Yeah. Jesus came and did it. Just for me. Yeah.
Just for me.
Yeah.
Just for me.
Jesus came.
And did it just for me.
Yeah. Come on. Just for me. Just for me. Yeah. Just for me. Yeah. Jesus came and did it.
Jesus came and did it
Just for me. Just for me. Just for me. Just for me.
just for me.
Yeah. Jesus came and did it.
Jesus came and did it just for me.
Come on, one more.